Wait, so we have how many more weeks? Yeah.
This week and next week, I think. Is it next week or Tuesday?
Yeah, that's what they, I thought they said mid-July. I'm just going to see what she said, what Gili said.
The last week is the 13th of July.
So then it's 2 more weeks. 2 more
Like
weeks.
Shoshana, I think, said when she's not around, so if you think that's coming up, if you want to change it, that's what I'm trying.
Next week or in 2 weeks?
Next week she's still here. And the week
Okay.
after she's on.
Okay, I should, yeah, should be fine. Yeah, that sounds fine. Okay, beseder.
She said she's doing it Wednesday. Yeah, so she's back ready. She said she's leaving that morning, so we told her that she may have to do it on the Zoom. Shoshana's going to Poland.
Wow.
She does these trips.
Trips. She's a madricha?
Yeah.
Wow.
She actually works with Hashem, so.
That's amazing.
Connect with these two women, but she does a lot of that.
But that's why she can't do it sometimes.
Yeah, she's very Hasidic, so when she goes, she knows how to give over, especially
With the live.
in Poland.
Oh, the Chassidut. Yeah.
Have you been looking at that? I actually wanted, I think, to go on one of these trips, and I don't know if it was the war or COVID that hit or canceled.
Yes.
I would love
With
to.
pleasure.
I really
Sure.
want to.
The same sheet from last time?
Yes, we have to start with the one from last time. No, this is a new one, but you need the one from last time.
Oh, is it two of them? It's 2 pages.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it into 1 page. Okay, so this is 3 copies.
Okay, so that's last time.
Now, I also printed, yes. I also printed, there was a shear we did on Zoom, that 1 day of war. Some people said they wanted it, so I have it here. Who? Oh, okay, so anybody else want? The sheets from, no, from.
Oh, yeah, from the Zoom
From the
thing I
Zoom,
did,
yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought it was you handed it. So, okay. All right, if anybody else wants, they're here. Just tell me. Okay. There's 2 sheets. That's what the sheets are. Okay. Okay. All right. So, we were last time in the middle of Perek Bet, and we saw that the sons of Eli are doing bad, and being mechalel the kodesh, like there were 2 main things that were going wrong. One was that the korbanot they would take from the korban before it was actually even given to Hashem, which is not allowed, and also they would take more meat than they were designated, which is allowed, but it's not the ruach of what you're supposed to be doing. And then there was also this thing about the women, either literally or not literally, but somehow making it that women do not feel comfortable. Either they had to stay overnight or they were actually being violated, either way. And then at the end of the perek, Pasuk Kaf Zayin, we talked about how an Ish Elokim comes to Eli to tell him off. Chazal say this is Elkanah, okay, Shmuel's father. ויבוא איש האלוקים אל עלי ויאמר אליו כה אמר השם הנגלו נגלתי אל בית אביך בהיותם במצרים לבית פרעה, taking us all the way back to Aaron in Mitzrayim, and the kesher that Hashem had with Beit Avicha, and you're supposed to be passing this on. We saw in previous shiurim how the Kohen's job is really to be a role model. The Kohen's job is to be somebody who people look up to. How are you Oved Hashem? And to bring people closer, whether it's by teaching Torah or being a role model in the Mikdash when people come to the Mikdash, that they're supposed to be coming 3 times a year. ובחר אותו מכל שבטי ישראל לי לכהן לעלות על מזבחי להקטיר קטורת לשאת אפוד לפניי ואתנה לבית אביך את כל אישי בני ישראל. I chose your Aaron. It's a present that Aaron has. It's not we saw in the psukim that it says that they're lakhu, And in the psukim in the Torah, it's latet, meaning like Hashem has given them the right. It's not about I get to take. And so I gave you etna, matana, lebeit avicha et ishei bnei Yisrael. And then so we got to pasuk kaftet, lama tiv'atu zivchei zvachai v'minchati asher tziveti ma'on meaning the mikdash. Why are you like kicking in the feet of the zevach and the mincha, meaning doing something not okay with my zvachim and my menachot? ותכבד את בנך ממני להבריחם מראשית כל מנחת ישראל לעמי. And you are giving respect to your sons before me, and we talked about how they take from the basar even before it's been even given to Hashem, להברichem, to make you feel good, from the beginning of all the mincha of Israel, of my people. Notice there's no mention of the whole thing with the nashim. Okay, Hashem is really, what's really angering Hashem is the way they're treating the korbanot, and how that's true. That's true. He's coming to the Father, and and we're going to see I think he's coming to the Father first of all because he already had a warning and he didn't do much about it. Like we saw Eli just said something to them. Why are you doing this? And then that's, it wasn't very effective. But also we said that Hashem hardened their heart, right? And they weren't going to listen because he was so angry at them that he's punishing them. Wait, what did you just ask? What did you just ask?
That he's come to the Father.
Right, and he's coming to the Father. I think also it has to do with the fact that he talked about Beit Aaron. This is your family is supposed to be doing this, and you got a present, and it's passed down generation after generation. And Eli had a responsibility. He is the leader, and he had a responsibility to make sure his sons would continue. Again, and his sons didn't listen. But also, so in something from Perek Gimel, the Radak says, but maybe when they were younger, he could have done something. Meaning, like, there is a responsibility of the father here, even though at this point he's not able to do anything. But when you were younger and when they started doing all this stuff, you should have rebuked them then. Okay? So there's a responsibility of the father. I mean, it's also that Eli is the Kohen Gadol. What happens in the Mikdash is Basof, his responsibility. So if the sons are doing something wrong, even if he can't stop them, then get rid of them. Like, what's this, like, why are you letting this continue to happen? And Basof, that goes back to the person in charge.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What is it about Elkanah that allows him to get all this nebuah? Do you have to be a person that is so connected to Hakadosh Baruch Hu that you were able to get it? So he's really like
He's a very special person. We talked about how he maybe, Chazal say, he's bringing everybody to the Mikdash. And I also...
Because obviously you have a certain light that you see.
Right.
Okay.
Nachon. And I also think that the reason why Chazal might say it's Elkanah is that Elkanah, Chana, and Shmuel are an antithesis to what Eli and his sons are doing wrong. Right? So what's happening right now in the Mikdash is it's sort of like these noblemen who like do whatever they feel like. Right? I mean, to put it in a not nice way, but they're running the country. They're not really running the country. They're running the Mikdash, and they're doing it for themselves instead of for Hashem, right? And they're making a situation where people don't want to come to the Mikdash.
Right.
Okay? Now Elkanah is trying to do a tikkun to that. He's trying to get people to come to the Mikdash. Chana, not only she gives the most precious thing that she wanted to the Mikdash, meaning she's saying, I want to give to Hashem. I want to do something good for Hashem. The thing that she was yearning for a long time. She's like, now she's given it to the Mikdash. And Shmuel, and here I can go back, this is something I wanted to do today, is to go back to that Midrash that, I don't know if you remember, last time we learned it, that Shmuel comes to Eli, when Chana brings Shmuel to Eli, then there's a midrash that Shmuel is moreh halacha. What halacha is he moreh? that we saw it in the Midrash was that a stranger can be shochet et korban. They couldn't find a kohen, so a stranger could be instead. What like if you think now conceptually, if Shmuel and Chana and Shmuel, Chana, and Elkanah represent this, wanting everybody to be part of the Mikdash, wanting to serve Hashem, then he's saying, you Kohanim, you don't have exclusive rights for serving Hashem. We also can have a role here. People can be part of it. It's actually, the Midrash becomes more understandable because, like, I can do shechita. I want to be able to take that role of, like, sacrificing for Hashem. And then you're opening it up to the people, while the Kohanim, Bnei Eli, now Bnei Eli maybe is passively doing this. They make it, no, this is an exclusive Kohanim thing. This is what we do. Like, this is our place. And that then one is coming letaken the other. Okay? I mean, especially coming after the time of Shoftim, where everything was like everybody does whatever they want, and there isn't this central avodat Hashem together. There isn't this like doing the right thing. And when they do come together, what do they come together to do? Civil war, right? So that the ruach of Elkanah, Chana, and Shmuel is going to bring a new ruach into Am Yisrael, which in the new sheets, I just want to get through these psukim and then the new sheets. You know what? We can do it already in the new sheets. Rav Rosen, he says it, I think, really well. Source number 1 in the new sheets. Tfisat HaTorah hi ki ha'keuna ena srara ve'ena kavod. The keuna is not about honor or ruling over. Ela shirut. It's a shirut. It's a service, which again, Elkanah and Shmuel and Chana that's what they're representing, versus Bnei Eli that are demanding and they're acting like they have all the rights.
No, you also see that also, let's say, when it came to building the Mishkan, where you also did like, avodat Hashem. Hashem wanted everybody to be part of it.
נכון. We're meant to come 3 times, everybody, נכון. שמואל הנער הלוי מייצג את התפיסה הנכונה, את היותו קודש לשירות העם. Sorry, that's a mistake. Kokesh, yeah, sorry. I typed it myself. מעילו של שמואל, הדבוק אליו תמיד, מייצג בגד ישרות וטלית של תפילה ונבואה אחת. Here, something he develops that the מעיל of Shmuel represents Shmuel's service, and we saw it that Chana changes it every year, and then Shaul is going to tear Shmuel's Me'il, and Shmuel comes up with the Balat Ov. He's known as his having the Me'il, which, by the way, in the pasuk we just read, in pasuk Parak Bet pasuk Kafchet, it says Laset Ephod. That's the ephod and a me'il are very similar. They're both the kli sharet to Hashem. They're not the same thing. The ephod is like an apron that goes over the me'il, but still they're both representing the shirut. Shmuel מערער אפוא על הטוטליות הכהנית במקדש. Like, so that this ruling of the Kohanim in the Mikdash, Shmuel is here to uproot it, ובכך סותם את הגולל וחותם את תקופת השופטים. Okay, by doing that, he's going to stop the תקופת השופטים. מות עלי, שביית הארון ומנהיגותו של שמואל המהלך עיר לעיר, מאותתים ומבשרים כי עידן חדש באופק, תקופת המלוכה מבצבצת והולכת. Shmuel is now going to, it's already in the book Shmuel Aleph, but here these first few prakim were this closing to time of Shoftim and the bringing in of a new time when there's going to be, everybody's going to be serving Hashem. Shmuel goes from ear to ear and makes everybody know Torah, and then ultimately to the point where there's a king who is Eved Hashem for Shaul and then David. Okay, so we got into that. I was going to do it after we read the Psukim, but we can do it now. Okay. So now let's just read the end of the Nevuah of the Ish Elkanah, if it's Elkanah the Ish Elokim, the punishment that Eli's going to get for having misused the role of the Kohanim. פסוק למד. לכן נאום השם אלוקי ישראל, למד, פרק ב', אוקיי? לכן נאום השם אלוקי ישראל, אמור אמרתי ביתך ובית אביך יתהלכו לפניי עד עולם, ואתה נאום השם חלילה לי כי מכבדי אכבד ובוזי יקלו. Okay, so now I told you that you and your ancestors would go before me forever, and now I can't have it that the people that I have to have it that the people that respect me I will give respect to, and those that are mevazeh they'll get punished, they'll get a klala. I think I didn't bring anything about that. They're going to take it off of them. They're going to not be able to have this honor. הנה ימים באים וגדדתי את זרעך ואת זרע בית אביך מהיות זקן בביתך. There are going to be days where I'm going to cut off your zera and your beit avicha zera from their being old people. Okay, that's the first step. And here the Malbim, he says there's going to be a few steps to this onesh to Eli in 15 of the pages last time. We're jumping from thing to thing. You got it? Okay, good. Hine yamim ba'im charatz onsho b'shalosh dvarim. Okay, three things are going to happen. One, yukach kvodo, which makes sense. If you don't know how to use your kavod correctly, then you're not going to have it. There are other Kohanim. I don't have to have you, Beit Eli, be my Kohen.
When he says cut off his arm, is it like when it
No, Zerah is not the arm.
oh,
It's your Zerah. It's your seed. It's your offspring. Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I should have made it clear. Aleph, שיוקח כבודו, okay? שתיים, שידל מאור אשרו ומפרנסתו, and they're going to be poor. They used their richness negatively, now they're going to lose it. Gimel, קוצר ימי בניו אל על. Now, and their people are not going to, they're going to die young, which Chazal have also stories like throughout Melachim. What? What did you say? What did you say? Well, not everybody. Eli's quite old. He's like 80 something. Like he's quite old. Right. So there's not going to be old age. V'gadadati et zaracha miyot zaken b'bitecha. Ratzah lomar hazroa shaya lecha b'ma sha'ita zaken. Meaning shofet in Israel. Egda kochacha zeh. You're not going to have this koach of being an elder. I think it's more an elder rather than, it is going to be literally age, but also that there won't be authority, there won't be a zaken, a shofet from you. ולא יהיה מביתך שופט וזקן ונשיא לישראל. וכך פירשו חכמינו זיכרונם לברכה בסנהדרין על דלדול פרנסת. Okay, and so דלדול, okay, so now we'll go on. והבטת צר מעון בכל אשר ייטב את ישראל, ולא יהיה זקן בביתך כל הימים. And you're going to look at those that serve in the ma'on, okay? You're going to look at your tzara, meaning the tzara, meaning your tzara is the other wife. So the other Kohanim are going to be serving in the Mikdash when, Rashi says, like when the Mikdash is going to be built and Shlomo builds it, there's going to be some other Kohen Gadol, not from your Zerah, and your Zerah is going to look at them and be jealous, and you're not going to be able to be the Kohen Gadol or an authority position. Anything good that's coming to Israel, your Zerah is not going to enjoy. They're going to die young. ואיש לא אחרית לך מעם מזבחי, לכלות את עיניך ולהאדיב את נפשך, וכל מרבית ביתך ימותו אנשים. And nobody from you, nobody is going to be able to be a Kohen. לא אחרית לך מעם מזבחי, לכלות את עיניך, like to be able to see with your eyes. One second, I just want to see the redact on this. לכלות את עיניך. רוצה לומר, בני בנך אשר יהיו בזמן ההוא וכן ולהדיב את נפשך נפש בני בנך, שיהיו בזמן ההוא, וזהו כיליון עיניים. Again, this is going to be this. They're going to be looking at the other ones and jealous and unable to actually be those that are serving. They're all going to be greater than them. וכל מרבית ביתך ימותו אנשים, and they will all die. וזה לך האות אשר יבוא על שני בניך, על חופני ופנחס, ביום אחד ימותו שניהם. And that this is actually going to happen, you're going to know by the fact that both your sons are going to die on the same day. Which, by the way, this is going to happen on the day that Shiloh is Nichrav. They're going to come and tell Eli that the Aaron is taken, his two sons die. He's going to be told that his two sons die, and then they're going to tell him that the Aaron is taken, and then he's going to fall back and he's going to die himself. Okay, but this all happens in one day. והקימותי לי כהן נאמן כאשר בלבבי ובנפשי יעשה ובניתי לו בית נאמן ויתהלך לפניי משיחי כל הימים. Okay, and I'm going to instead have some other Kohen who is Ne'eman, and he's not being selfish, and he's going to do what I want, and I'll build him a Beit Ne'eman. And here Radak in 17 says that is Tzadok HaKohen, who's going to be after when Shlomo builds the Beit HaMikdash, he's going to become the Kohen Gadol. Here, והקימותי לי כהן נאמן, אמרו כי זה היה צדוק, כי לא חלה על זרע אלי הקללה, עד שנעשה צדוק הכהן גדול. This klala didn't come out fully until Tzadok becomes a Kohen Gadol, and then from then on, all the Kohanim Gedolim are from Tzadok, who is from Elazar, from Pinchas. Eli is from Itamar. Okay, those are the two sons that are left after Nadav and Avihu are killed. They're all descendants of Aaron. Aaron had 4 sons. Okay. Nadav and Avihu die, right? And then there's Elazar and there's Itamar. Then, for some reason, the Kehuna moves from Elazar. Elazar is the Kohen Gadol. Then it moves to the descendants of Itamar, to Eli, who's from Itamar. And then when Tzadok Kohen, which really should have happened, like Pinchas, it's supposed to be Pinchas, was supposed to continue. What? Pinchas is from Elazar. And then this only changes when Tzadok becomes the Kohen Gadol. There is a different Kohen Gadol, and he rebels with Amnon, David's son, against David, and then they get rid of him. Also, one thing I didn't know before is that the point where they're all going to die, where he says Yamutu, that they're all going to die, like Yamutu Anashim in Pasuk Lamed Gimel, it's Kohanei Nov, we're descendants of Eli, right? When Shaul kills all of Kohanei Nov, we're not justifying Shaul, but that's their Bnei Eli, okay? They're descendants from Eli, okay. Vaya Kol Hana.
Comes to Eli because it matters to Eli and the sons. They don't care. They just want the here and now.
Right. It's bothering you. Like, why did Chofni and Pinchas? Why didn't anybody tell anything to them? Right, Nachon. Like, I think it's coming to Eli, also because I think it's usually it goes to the leader. Like Eli is in charge, and it goes to him. Also, Chofni and Pinchas are really Rishayim. Like they. I guess Hashem has given up on them, and we saw it in the Psukim. Like he said, they're so bad that he's not even giving them. Eli does say something to them, but they don't even listen. There's something like absolute about this, and we're going to see Shmuel is also going to get a nevuah against Eli, and there's nothing to do about it anymore. It's too late. Like and here, the question is whether there was an expectation that Eli should do something after this nevuah, but he doesn't. He doesn't. אוקיי, והיה כל הנותר בביתך יבוא להשתחוות לו לאגורת כסף וכיכר לחם, ואמר ספחני נא אל אחד הכהונות לאכול פת לחם. And here is this description that anybody who is left from Eli's descendants are going to come to the Mikdash, but they're going to have no money. Like that was what the Malbim said, he's not going to have any money, and they're going to, even just for kikar lechem, they're going to have to ask, and they're going to be asking to be added on to the kehunot so they could at least eat something from truma or something. There'll be such a point of decay. I mean, it's severe, right? It's like how bad what they did was. I mean, it was a major chilul Hashem, but it's like ledorot. Like this is like the long term. Eli is now out. Like it's really, really harsh. Okay, so we're gonna move now into Perek Gimel. Any questions?
No, I think it's also just a little bit like midah keneged midah, because some of the corruption that they were doing was also from like taking away from
Hashem.
And here now you don't even have your own food.
Nachon, mamash, mamash, mamash. Nachon. And it's midah keneged midah because they also used it for themselves as opposed to for Hashem, and then they lost the right for their position.
Yeah.
Like they don't even have.
Like,
What?
like yeah, they were in such a high position, they did such awfulness.
נכון, נכון, 100%. I mean, באיזשהו מקום, I mean, I don't know, some part of me is like, this harsh, like, what about the fourth generation? Like, what about at least descendants that are now have this, like, gzeirah? Like, and then I thought about it, I was like, okay, so that if you are born to the side of Eli, you have to accept it. Like, it's what do you do with it? Like, it's like, but they say how long-term these things are, I think also that's something to think about, like, what you do, how far the ramifications can be.
Same with Korach. Also influential and had so many things. He did come from the same family, like
Nachon.
He did the same, and he and his family were not so glad to go in.
Except I just want to say, Shmuel is from Bnei Korach.
I know, but I'm saying.
I mean, he like,
but
so, yeah.
That is the key point.
You're right.
And, but we look at a person like Aaron, where his two boys were doing something wrong, but he did the right thing. Like,
Right.
in the morning, he understood this is what Hashem decreed. He was sad, but it's how you approach it.
Mamash. And it's a challenge when you have a gzira, and it's a challenge when you have power, and what do you do with it? Like, both of those are challenges. Yeah, and the achriyut of power.
But I feel that back that we keep bringing up the Me'il in this story, I think it's also symbolic of the fact that when you are going to be something in that position, you have to have a certain, how people
Reminder.
It's like,
Yeah,
you have to act in a certain way,
Mamash.
and it's opposites that are.
No, mamash. And Shmuel, it's at the end of his life, it's going to testify. I didn't take anything from anybody I didn't take anything from anybody.
Yeah.
He did not use his position for anything.
Mm-hmm.
He wore this me'il, and he went around, and he was not mitparnes from whatever authority position he had. It's a complete opposite from what Chofni. And remember, Shmuel grew up in the world of Chofni and Pinchas. Like, it was just like, he managed to maintain and create something new.
Yeah.
And I think that midrash at first seems crazy. Why are you putting in here that Eli wants to kill Shmuel? But it actually becomes very, very real. Like, he is creating, even in Chazal, even from the young age of 2 or 3, like, he's already on a different path to create a new reality for Am
What's
Yisrael.
nice in this story, as opposed to what we've been saying the whole Shoftim, is there's a light. Meaning, up till then, we've never seen anybody say, this is not right, guys, listen, but here you're saying
People doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. After a whole year of learning Shoftim, we can end on a good note. Right, okay, so now we'll start Perek Gimel. Okay. והנער שמואל משרת את השם לפני עלי, ודבר השם היה יקר בימים ההם, אין חזון נפרץ. Okay, so the Na'ar Shmuel was serving Hashem in front of Eli, like he kept growing, getting older, but he was serving. Dvar Hashem haya yakar bayamim ahem. Okay, so here did they quote it? I forgot to bring. I wanted to bring a midrash. There's 10 things that are called yakar. One of them is nevuah, but it means that there was yakar here. Rashi says is manua. It's held back. Okay, it's something that's difficult. Scarce. Yeah, nachon. Yakar ruach ish tvuna manua dvarim. A person who has tvuna is somebody who holds back, who is able to be careful with what he says. I thought that was a beautiful, that's a Rashi. Yakar ruach ish tvuna manua dvarim adam mevin. A person who really understands knows he knows that he doesn't understand everything and that he's careful with whatever he does say. I thought that was a beautiful way of, it's in Mishlei, Yakar Ruach Ish Shvuna. But here, Yakar Bayamim Ahem is that there isn't a lot of, it's hard to find Nevuah in these days. And again, Elkanah had, or whoever that Ish Eloki was, but there's very, very rare. Ein Chazon Nifratz. And so here, the Malbim has a beautiful description. What does it mean to have Nevuah, okay? And he says, it's in 2, where I underlined. כי השפע האלוקית תחשוק בטבעה לרדת אל המוכנים. God's shefa wants to come down, is dying to come down, okay? כמו שכתוב, כי יצא כמים על צמא ונוזלים על יבשה. Then I skip to the rest of the underlined. ובעת לא תמצא איש מוכן לקבל השפע הזאת, תדמה כנחל מלא על גדותיו אשר אין לו מקום להגיר מימיו. It's like a river that's flowing, and it's just overflowing, and it doesn't have anywhere to put its waters. It's so overflowing. That's what it's like when there's nobody to take the water from the nachal. שאז עת ימצא פרץ קטן, יפרוץ נחל אם גר בשטף כביר וכוח חזק. But let's say then the nachal finds a little way to get out. Suddenly there's going to be tons of water going in that direction, right? So that's what happened now with Shmuel. Suddenly it saw that there was Shmuel, so the nevuah just came at Shmuel like a parrot. I thought it was just a beautiful description. אוקיי, רצה שהשפע מהמחזה האלוקי לא מצאה פרץ לשטוף ולהגיר שפע מימי הקודש, עת מצא פרץ קטן שהוא שמואל, שהיה מוכן אל השפע, אז בעתו פתאום בשפע רב עד נזלה גם סביביו. So that then the water of the nevuah comes out to Shmuel, and it's so much that there's going to be also more Nevi'im. And he's going to have students that are also Nevi'im. Okay? All right. Okay. So that's the Chazon Nifratz. Okay. ויהי ביום ההוא, ואלי שוכב במקומו, ועיניו החלו כהות לא יוכל לראות. Okay? And on that day, Eli was resting in his place, and his eyes started to get dim, and they couldn't see. Okay, so here the Radak asks, like, I don't know why we need to know this. Okay, why do we need to know that he can't see?
He can't just on this day, or
It's been starting that he can't see. Okay, so he's like, literally, if you want, what does it help us to know that Eli can't see so well? Okay, he was like, why do we need to know this? Oh, he's going inside. Okay, nice. And then he says here, so in Chazal, that's a really nice understanding, which also is a little in the Malbim. The Malbim says that, I think. מתבודד בעיונו ומחשבותיו. Okay, that's what you're saying. But the Radak says something else which comes from Chazal, ואם הוא דרך משל ורצה לומר עיני הלב, כלומר רוח הקודש. He can't see Ruach HaKodesh so well anymore. Okay? And we saw that with Hannah. He didn't really know what was going on with her, right? Right. 12, 13 years ago. נכון. וטעמו שהייתה רוח הקודש הולכת ופוסקת ממנו. So it could be, this has been a slow process, but he's getting less and less נבואה. שלא הייתה רגילה אצלו כבתחילה מפני מעשה בניו, because of what his sons were doing, it started getting less. לפיכך באה הנבואה הזאת אל שמואל ולא באה אליו. ובדרש אומר כהות ממש, ואמר כל המעמיד בן רשע עיניו כהות. Okay? Anybody who has a son that's evil, his eyes get dim. And where do they learn this from? Yitzchak. Okay? Right. So Yitzchak, וכן אלי ולדעת הדרש היה הסיפור הזה, הנה לפי שעתיד לזכור הנבואה שבאה לשמואל על עוון בניו. So that he like Yitzchak, whose eyes get dim when Esav is bad, so here also Eli's eyes get dim because his sons are doing bad. You'd think it would be the opposite, that because they can't see, then their sons go bad. But it's actually saying it's not. It's because they're bad, then their eyes get dim. And maybe they have to go inside more. I don't know. Okay. ונר אלוקים טרם יכבה, ושמואל שוכב בהיכל השם, אשר שם ארון אלוקים. Okay, so what does it mean, ner elokim terem יכבה?
Still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. Ner elokim meaning Eli. Oh, excellent. Okay, interesting. Very good. Actually, that's connected to the Midrash. Okay, so Radak brings it as literally. Okay. There's a time, when did the ner, when was it lit in the Mikdash, the menorah? So they lit it every night. Stayed all, so that not the whole menorah. The most of the nerot were until the morning. Okay, and they went out in the morning. The ner maravi was always lit. Okay? So the way the Radak understands it's imal nerota menorah mar hayaze kodem alot shachar. So terem yichabe is that it's not really boker yet. Okay, maybe it's the beginning of alot shachar, but it's not really boker yet when the nerot go out. Ki nerot hayu dulkim mi'erev ad boker. Afa shepamim hayu kavot miktzatan balayla. Maybe some of them would go out, but something would still be on till the morning. ושמן היו נותנים בהן, and if they went out they would add שמן. במידה שהיו דולקים מערב עד בוקר, וברוב הפעמים היה דולקים עד הבוקר, ונר מערבי בכל זמן היו מוצאים אותו דולק. Okay, somehow, miraculously it stayed all the time. ואמר כי באה הנבואה הזאת לשמואל קודם שכבו הנרות בעוד לילה, כמו זמן קריאת הגבר. Okay, so this is a certain time of the morning. They're like the morning is divided into different times, but it's just before morning, night, whatever you want to call it, just before the lights, the nerot of the menorah go out. So literally, but in the Gemara, there's a different understanding. In 5, כשמת רבי עקיבא נולד רבי, כשמת רבי נולד רב יהודה, כשמת רב יהודה נולד רבא. כשמת רבא נולד רב אשי, ללמדך שאין צדיק נפטר מן העולם עד שנברא צדיק כמותו. Okay, שנאמר וזרח השם ובא השמש. And how do they prove it? עד שלא כבתה שמשו של אלי, זרחה שמשו של שמואל הרמתי, שנאמר ונר אלוקים טרם יכבה, is what Tamar said, that it's like the light of Eli was still there when Shmuel already started getting nevuah. Meaning, so they were there at the same time. Hashem doesn't leave us without some light. When a tzaddik goes, there's always another tzaddik that's already there. Okay. But another thing in the pasuk that's a problem is Ushmuel shochev behichal Hashem. If you read it that way, that's a serious issue because nobody's allowed to sleep, and he's not allowed. He's a Levi. He's not a Kohen, right? So if you actually look in the Tamim, it doesn't. It says Ushmuel shochev at nacht, which is a break in the pasuk. Okay, so it's Shmuel shochev, and they say, and so Chazal say that Behichal Hashem is talking about the ner. Okay, and Shmuel is shochev. But the ner hasn't gone out yet in Heichal Hashem. Okay, that's the way they read the pasuk. Asher sham aron Elokim, and here the Dat Mikra hits that the voice that Shmuel is going to hear, which is nevuah, is coming from the Aron, right? Moshe also got his nevuah from the Aron in the Kodesh Kodashim. Okay, so that they're mentioning the Aron Elokim because that's where the voice actually comes from. Okay.
Is this where they also get nevuah when they're sleeping, or is this not yet there?
I mean, people get nevuah in all sorts of places. They don't always get it right there. And we somehow believe that the Aron is a conduit somehow for Shechinat Hashem, right?
No, the fact that they're talking about he's sleeping, like why is that important?
The Yishochev, because he's going to hear. You'll see. It's part of the the story. Yeah. because he has to wake up. He has to think that Eli is calling him, so he has to go to Eli. Like, it also is giving a picture of what's the situation, right? Okay, he should. What did you say? Yeah, exactly. It's actually an amazing description here. A person hearing Nevuah for the first time. Like, it's very different than Yirmiyahu. Like, Yirmiyahu's is a little scary, and Yeshayahu's, and you also have there some description. But here, it's like much more palatable. Yeah, and matim to who he is, right? Maybe also. Okay, I think we went through about the Heichal Hashem. Okay, so, 1 second, I also brought the Malvin. No, I think we're good with we don't need to go through them all. Okay. Pasuk Dalet. V'yikra Hashem el Shmuel v'yomer hineni. Okay. So Hashem calls Shmuel, and Shmuel says, hineni. Does he know that Hashem is calling him? And we're going to see that no. Okay? It seems in the pasuk, like, but it's a beautiful thing about Shmuel. What's his first reaction when somebody calls him? Exactly, hineni, right? It's beautiful. It's as opposed to Adam Rishon Zayeka. When Hashem says Zayeka, he doesn't say hineni, right? Vayaratz el Eli, vayomer hineni ki karata li, vayomer lo karati, shuv shchav. Okay, so Shmuel's heard this voice say, Shmuel, we don't even know what Hashem said actually, and Shmuel says, Hineni, but he thinks it's Eli. Some of the Mepharshim say it was the voice of Eli. That sometimes Nevuah comes in a way that is a person knows, is familiar with. But that he thought that maybe it was the voice of Eli, in the voice of Eli. I think they also say that about Moshe at the Sneh, that he also thought it was his father's voice when Hashem at first calls him. Yeah. So Eli's like, I didn't call you. And then he says, go back and lie down. So what did Eli think? What does Eli think has happened here? Here the Malbim says, first of all, the Malbim says about Vayaratz, okay, bimrotza la'asot dvaro, like again, Shmuel's eagerness to do the right thing. Ve'eli chashav barishona shehaya ze mipeulat hadimyon sheifal lefamim et hachush. It's like his imagination. You know, sometimes you hear things, but don't really happen, and then and it's just your imagination. Lahatoto ad sheidme kol koreh beoznav. Okay, just go back to sleep. Again, Eli raised Shmuel. Right? So he thought he's a kid. Like he's hearing things. Okay, so he goes back to sleep. Vayosef Hashem kro od Shmuel, vayakam Shmuel, vayilech el Eli, vayomer hinene ki karata li. Okay, nice, obedient child. You know, you called me, so I'm coming right away. He is. We did say at the beginning of the parak that he's mesharet Eli, right? Now Shmuel mesharet Hashem lifnei Eli. Okay, so he's serving in the Mikdash, and he is like serving Eli. So it's understandable that he thought, okay, Eli needs something in the night, and I'm going to go to Eli. Ve'omer lo karati bni, shuv shchav. Same thing. Go back to sleep. Again, you must, maybe you're just midamyen, but Eli's very nice. It doesn't say you're just making up things. It just says, go back to sleep. Okay. Yeah. You gotta read ahead. Tamar read ahead. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. V'shmuel terem yada et Hashem. V'shmuel terem yada et Hashem. V'terem yegale elav dvar Hashem. Shmuel hasn't experienced Nevuah ever before. Okay? He hasn't been taught how does Nevuah come. He didn't go to Nevuah school, which there will be a Nevuah school that Shmuel will establish, but he hasn't gone to that. He doesn't understand what it means that Hashem is talking to you. Okay? The Katuv is just helping us understand what's happening here. Vayosef Hashem kro Shmuel bashlishit, vayakam vayilech el Eli, Vayomer hineni ki karata li. It's a little bit funny because, like, what does Shmuel think at this point? Like, and why? And he keeps thinking that at least calling him and at least saying no. Like, what is Shmuel thinking? But I guess there's a tmimut here. Like, somebody's calling me. What? Right, nachon. It's not even his head at all. Right? How could there be something that? Yeah, nachon.
But it's also like Moshe, like the snap.
Nachon. Right, he has no idea. Right, nachon. But it's a beautiful insight into the tmimut and the and like how does it feel really to get to Hashem? Okay, so then vayakam vayelech el Eli vayomer hineni ki karata li vayaven Eli ki Hashem koreh lanar. Okay, so then Eli gets it, right? He's like, he understands Hashem is calling him. Okay, calling Shmuel. Okay, so here, the Malbim, and I brought it here also with that. So they go into a little bit what happened here. Okay, so let's look at the Radak in 10. Ki b'shtei hapamim chashav Eli ki nidme lo l'Shmuel ki adam koreh oto. Okay, so that was just part of his imagination. Umetoch shnato. ולא היה קורא לו אדם, אבל כאשר ראה כי 3 פעמים זו אחר זו שמע הכל אחרי שניער משנתו, ידע כי לא היה טועה שמואל. This is not Shmuel's mistake, and he's really hearing something. And then he works out, and here I'm skipping to the Rava והחכם רבי אבן עזרא, אמר כי לפי ששמואל לבדו היה שומע הכל, ואלי לא היה שומע אותו, ידע אלי והבין כי הכל הנבואה. Okay, because Shmuel's on his own, and he's hearing it, but Eli's not hearing it. He understands finally Hashem is the one who's calling him. Okay, and the Malbim, he describes a little bit how Nevuah comes, which is also interesting. אז הבין בבירור שהשם קורא אותו, כי התגברות הדמיון באיש בריא לא יהיה רק על מעט. Okay, your imagination is not going to trick you 3 times. Okay, it's too many times. ברוח חוקרים, and here חוקרים is not our חוקרים, it's like people, philosophers, I think he means, האחרונים שהנבואה תבוא לפעמים מושכלת. Sometimes it comes and you understand what's happening to you, במה שיושפע ידיעה ברורה על שכל הנביא. The Navi will know, obviously, that that's what's happening to him. והפעמים תבוא מדומה, על ידי צורות שיראה הכוח המדמה. Sometimes נבואה comes through your imagination. And then in some way, whether it's some funny vision you see or it's some funny voice that you hear, there's different kinds of nevuah. Like it's very clear to me Hashem is talking to me. And there's another one that just comes in this more imaginative way. I don't know, because like Yechezkel, for instance, has very elaborate imaginations of that he describes. Okay, so some people actually said that the more it was further away from Moshe Rabbeinu, that it's actually more tziyuri, okay? So that I don't think it's necessarily age. לפעמים תבוא מוחשית על ידי קול שיגיע לאוזן הנביא או צורות נוראות אשר יראום בעיניהם בפועל, ומזה המין האחרון היה קריאה שקרא שמואל. So then there's this you could hear a voice, or you can actually it's tangible, right? There's clear from Hashem, maybe like Moshe's nevuah. There's this through imagination, and then it's real. It's like part of this world, like some voice or some image that's very clear to you. Okay, and that's the kind that Shmuel gets. Now, and he says something interesting. ודעתי בזה שנבואה זה לא בא על שמואל בתורת שליחות, רק בתורת הודעה לבד. We're going to see he's going to get a nevuah about Eli. But Malbim goes into the fact that it's just coming to Shmuel to let him know. He's not meant to go tell Eli. Like often nevuah is something that the Navi gets, and then he has to tell somebody something. But in this case, it was just to let Shmuel know. But then the Malbim says Hashem made it that it came out in this way that Eli knows he got a nevuah, and then he has to tell Eli. Otherwise, Shmuel wouldn't have told Eli. But that this funny way of getting it is in order for him to pass it down to Eli, but he doesn't really have to tell Eli because there's nothing Eli can do about it.
But this was the message Hashem wanted to give to Eli.
he's giving it to Shmuel, and apparently because of the way things worked out, he wanted Eli to hear it, but Eli could hear it, but not because it's something he has to do about it. Okay, you need to go. Do you guys want to stop now, or go on another 5 minutes? What do you want? There's another 5 minutes.
I mean, if you want to continue, it's your choice.
Either way, whatever people. Okay, so let's just finish a little bit more, and then we'll continue next time. Okay, so right. Okay, so then let's just finish the calling of Shmuel, and then we'll go into the Nevuah later. Hi. בעזרת השם. ויאמר אלי לשמואל, לך שכב, והיה אם יקרא אליך, ואמרת דבר השם, כי שומע עבדך. וילך שמואל וישכב במקומו. Okay? So Eli says to Shmuel, if you get called again, a fourth time, and say, דבר השם כי שומע עבדך. Speak Hashem, because your Eved is listening. And so Shmuel goes and lies down again. ויבוא השם ויתייצב ויקרא כפעם בפעם, שמואל שמואל. ויאמר שמואל, דבר כי שומע עבדך. Okay? So now Shmuel maybe was what he said every time. Right? We didn't know until now what was Hashem saying. But he says Shmuel. Now notice that Shmuel takes out something that Eli tells him to say. Eli says, say, Daber Hashem ki shomea avdecha. Shmuel says, Daber ki shomea avdecha. And here the Gemara says, tell something to a chacham and he'll be even more chacham. Okay? Shmuel understood that it's still not for sure it's Hashem. I can't assume Hashem is talking to me. So he just said Daber. Like he didn't go to Eli again, but he said Daber. He didn't say Daber Hashem. Like he didn't tell Hashem you should talk, but he said Daber. And here and then the Gemara they say give something a chacham something, then and he will be smart in the way he says it.
But is this like a training for Shmuel? Like I'm trying to figure out from Hashem. Like,
What's he doing?
We don't need the middleman of Eli in the whole story, but there's a process here, and is he?
It's a training. It's a training, and you'll see that this is the start of Shmuel's life of Nevuah. He's throughout his life he's going to have Nevuah, and he's going to be right in what he says. That's just who Shmuel is. Okay, no problem. So I think, first of all, what we gain from it is, number one, this introduction to how Nevuah comes, right, at the beginning. But also, I think, is that because of this, Eli knows that he's getting Nevuah, and then he's going to tell Eli what he's going to be told, okay? And also, it's the introduction to the Shmuel's relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Like, it's like, which is going to be thought.
Not went to the Hebrew next door. Or maybe we should.
Maybe we should. And then they'll tell us that it's to talk to Hashem. Okay. Wait, can I just borrow a pen and I'll write where we got to?
Yes. I want you to know that last week I was listening. There's a radio station in America called JM in the AM.
Oh, okay.
You know, I listen when I'm working. Sometimes, like I have an earbud and I'm like listening. So they were doing like a whole thing. They were talking to a person who is a buyer for wine, and they were trying to promote the wines from Israel.
Okay.
They were talking about Har Tabar, and like when they were talking about it, the guy says, I can't remember. There's something like somewhere in Tanakh, I think it is, and it was from the thing Yael. That's where Sisra comes in.
Right.
And I looked in the shoftim just to make sure.
Oh, wow.
I just sent a comment to the guy.
That's amazing. You said where it is. That's amazing. That's beautiful.
The next day he comes on the thing and he says that the source of
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
So learning
That's really cool.
You're never too old to learn.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's that's the best thing to tell a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, I actually got something out of your class.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.